Helmets save lives. The phrase that you will hear if you spend any time in this game, and they really do. Having the ability to shrug off hits to your head at least one time is an important part of the balancing in this game, and losing your helmet can often be detrimental to living. Without one, you become extremely vulnerable. A one-shot kill to the head by any weapon at any range. With the only really exception being shotguns, but like if you're using shotguns at long range, what the hell are you doing? Now, understanding the importance of having a helmet, knowing the major downsides of losing it, we look to the officer. What do we notice that's different compared to the other classes? That's right, he has drip! Now look at that fucking hat tier list! If you're a real officer main, you know that hair is the only one you should ever use. Well, no. The real difference is, no helmet. So why would you want to play this class? Well, what if I told you the officer is one of the strongest classes in this game by far, and the only reason they haven't taken over the game is because of that lack of helmet? So what abilities does the officer get to counteract these crippling downsides? Well, at its core, you have two goals that you need to accomplish to become an effective officer: giving buffs and revealing enemies. Now, playing the game, you will inevitably see these red diamonds, or squares. I know I'm not supposed to read ominous red square. Anyways, doesn't matter. Well, whatever they are, these things hover above an opponent's head and are one of Officer's main abilities. So, how does one apply these red things? Well, that's where the recon kit comes in. The most basic one to consider is just your gun. When you as an officer hit an opponent with your gun, you will mark them for 10 seconds. This mark can be seen through everything: walls, rock, even other people. The rest of the recon kit is just different ways of applying these marks. Starting off, the binoculars are a simple zoom tool, just like in real life. But when you press M1 on an enemy, you mark them for 10 seconds, the same as your gun. This mark, however, will be a slightly different color. Because of this, one of its main uses is marking important targets, such as good players or shock troopers. Do keep in mind that when zoomed in, your head is fairly exposed, so don't be surprised if you get headshot. Next up, the telescope. Placed down by pressing R. It will mark enemies within line of sight for 1 whole second. Not very long, but when you consider its range, that's a different story. It has a very large area of effect, reaching up to 200 studs away, with a field of view of 170 degrees. Using it to see people past certain choke points is one of its main uses, and because it can just stay there forever, it is very effective at doing that. Now, there is a small detail about the telescope that is often missed, and that's it can only be active when there's an ally within 80 studs. This is indicated by a team-colored glint, which can actually give away if there's someone nearby to the enemy, so keep that in mind when placing it down. Now finally, flares, the most versatile and powerful of the four. By pressing T, you will shoot out a bright team-colored flare. This light will last for 30 seconds, obscuring your teammates due to how bright it is, and marking all enemies within its radius for 1 second. These tools are incredibly useful, primarily helping both you and your teammates with your positioning. Knowing where your opponent is before they know where you are is a very powerful ability to have. It gives you the option to know when to flank or when to stay in the position you are already in. Another aspect of this is wall penetration. It's a mechanic that a lot of newer players don't really take into consideration, but the officer can help you greatly with this because of the marking, letting you see the exact position of people behind those wooden structures. But this is only one aspect of the officer's power. So let's get into the truly stupid.
That's enough of this. What makes you qualified to talk about this class?
Well, it is my channel.
Channel schmannel. Give me that fucking mic. God, that guy. Anyways, hey there people. Big Q here, a certified officer main. I'm here to tell you the most important part of officer. Now, you may be skeptical about me, but out of my 600 plus hours on this game, almost all of them have been on officer, except around 20. Now, on to the important bit that you're here for. It's one of the most important aspects of Officer. It's always so misunderstood and misused, but I will change that mindset starting today. When looking at the whistle in game, it's not very helpful. Yes, it tells you each buff does, but it lacks a deeper description than many of the things in game tell you. So, to get the fuller picture, we're going to take a handy dandy look at this little Trello here. I got you, don't worry. Advanced Order. It's my least favorite, but it is my most used. It increases your sprinting speed as well as increasing the acceleration speed by 20%. It's basically a mini Greyhound, which is nuts when trying to respawn, moving in between points, flanking, and so much more. It helps you so much. Now, onto Focus Order. Basically, it's a slightly worse version of Black Hand that you can call at a whim of your finger. It's on your fingertips, and whenever you want, you can just get Black Hand. It's nuts. It increases your weapon accuracy and handling, which is both your draw speed and aim speed. Draw speed by 30, aim speed by 20 respectively. On top of that, it also reduces your felt recoil and walk speed penalty from aiming and shooting, which, if you didn't know, was when you first start a gunfight and you raise your weapon from sprinting. Defense Order. Ooh, I should have used this way more than I give it credit for, but it is actually the best whistle, I kid you not. It increases your surgery speed for you and your allies by 15%. It makes you immune to staggering, knockback, and clotting, and for those who know what clotting does, oh boy, is that very helpful for health regen. Most importantly, you get 10% damage reduction from both bullets and melee hits. It's often so hard to notice in hard gunfights, in the heat of battle and all that, but the difference it makes, you'll never notice it, but it'll always be there for you. Trust me, it procs more than you think. Overall, these buffs are stupidly overpowered, but sadly, it has its own drawbacks. Like when activated on your teammates, it only affects people within 80 studs, including yourself obviously. It's also signified by color code, however. So, you could always tell as a teammate who's not officer what buff you're under. Like if you see yourself glowing blue, try to shoot more people. If you're under green, try to focus on playing passive, try to heal people, etc, etc. Or, just go ham when you have both. Most importantly, they stack with any perks and buffs they're on, which can get very funny very fast. Now, most people may consider this class to have the highest skill floor all the way down there, and I would agree with some of them. However, the high skill floor comes with an even higher skill ceiling. In general, the officer is considered a support class, but in the right hands, the officer can become the mastermind of the battlefield. It's nuts. One thing you might notice when playing as officer is that you can see where your teammates are from a large distance. About 200 studs I've seen. This can let you coordinate your team efforts and also help you be selfish and reposition into good gunfights around your team. It helps better play for both you and your teammates. You can really get the advantage in a gunfight. Back to capping. Oh my god. Back capping as well is another good example. With the double cap rate passive that you have as officer, it's really suited for sneaky tactics, like tug of war. Now keep in mind how valuable you are while doing this. It's a risky maneuver, but it could really help your team in a pinch. It gives you major buffs if you can pull it off. It all is on key and timing. You gotta be patient. Don't focus on fighting head on if you don't have to. Sticking with your team's also very important, but they often get in the way, so in that case just use them as shields. Now, some of you may think, well that's just selfish as an officer. Do it anyways. Oh fuck.
Hey, you get the fuck out of my studio.
Shit, they're back.
Security, get him.
You'll never catch me.
Oh god, well, where were we? There we go, right there. Throughout this video, I haven't really given mention to any perk that you should really run with this class, and that's kind of for good reason. Because there's really only one perk you should ever really run. Survivalist. This one does, honestly, a shit ton. Not only does it let you have a secondary weapon, which is very nice in gunfights, but most importantly, you get a second whistle and a third flare. Remember when Q talked about how good the whistle is? Well, how about you get two of them? Here's the thing. The strong part about the whistle is not only does it affect your teammates, but most importantly, it affects yourself. Stacking 2 different buffs on top of each other by using Survivalist is like having 2.5 perks at almost all times. While the whistle buffs in themselves are not as strong as actual perks, the fact that you can have so many buffs active at the same time is where the true power comes from. And the fact that you can affect all your teammates at the same time is just a cherry on top. What about the third flare? Well, all I have to say about that is the more marking, the better. Another large part about this game is shock troopers. And you would think as officer that your only choice for shock troopers is radio, and you're not incorrect. Take everything you know about officer and put it all together. That's what radio is. The god of support and one of my personal favorite shocks. Giving you access to all of the whistle buffs, a 25% reload buff, and radio marks at the same time. It affects all enemies and allies within 75 studs. And becoming Radio Trooper when you're already an officer also gives you another 25% reload buff and an insane movement speed increase. Not going for kills as a radio and kind of just existing is the name of the game. The radio is the queen of the field, omnidirectional in their power. But picking radio is not always the right choice. At the end of the day, as radio you still have no helmet and as such can be killed just as easily. So what other shocks can you go? One that I've had fairly good success with is actually Trench, with a powerful, fast-firing shotgun and an indestructible helmet. The synergy is a no-brainer. And remember, you still have access to your flares and whistle, especially when using Survivalists. Giving yourself those powerful buffs cannot be ignored. And this could be said for every shock. While I've had the most success with Trench, you could very well have better results with a different shock. It's, at the end of the day, really up to you. That was a lot. And that's just this class in general. Marking people effectively, using your whistles, and still picking off fanatics. Okay, I didn't and still picking off enemies. All while remembering you still don't have a helmet. So pick your ass up and lead that fucking charge. And don't let 1 or 2 headshot deaths stop you from mastering this insanely powerful class.
Hey, me again. If you made it this far into the video, why not get capture a little itty bitty sub? Maybe just a little like and comment too. Anything helps. And remember, Big Q wants you to become an officer main.
Hey, why are you back in here?
Oh fuck, gotta go.